Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. My name is David Neptune, and I'm here with you today with my cat Phoebe, who seems rather relaxed. And I'm here to share with you all a little bit of music here for Music Mondays. So I first just want to thank the Japan Foundation Los Angeles for having me. It's quite an honor to be included in this live broadcast because Japan Foundation is such a great organization, and there are... Hello, everyone. Hi, Mike. Hello, hello. So it's quite an honor to be included amongst musicians like Mike Penny here, who plays the shamisen, and A.N. Hunter Ishikawa, who is amazing on the taiko and vibraphone. And so I just really appreciate being part of this event. It's really quite an honor. And I know that right now the times are rather uncertain, and there are a lot of there's a lot of rough news that's happening right now. And so my heart really just goes out to everyone experiencing this. I think we're all really a global family right now experiencing this together. And I'm grateful that we can kind of come together for just a few minutes of live music together like this, to sort of feel our connection and ground back into the sound current. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my first instrument. I'm going to be playing 3 different instruments today, so you have a few interesting things coming up. So this is called the takeda, and this there's quite a bit of background to go through for this instrument here, but just to show you the sounds, and then I'll get into a little bit of the background of it. You have the 2 heads, this side as well. And then the very interesting part about this instrument is that these 2 big holes actually make a really interesting bass sound. So, to tell you a little bit about this, it was invented actually by my father, who is a shakuhachi player in Japan. So I was born and raised in Japan, mainly because both of my parents are American, but they went to Japan when my father was studying the shakuhachi and my mother was studying Japanese. So they ended up in Japan, and my father still lives in Japan and is a wonderful shakuhachi player. And the shakuhachi is a traditional Japanese bamboo flute, which is really beautiful. It used to be a tool for meditation, but then evolved into more of a musical instrument as more and more people began experimenting with the flute. So the way that this instrument came about is very interesting. My father is also a shakuhachi maker. His name is John Kaizan Neptune, and he also was commissioned one day to make a rock shakuhachi out of this material called sanukite, which is a very interesting material to work with in a workshop. So he used diamond drills and all these tools to create a rock shakuhachi, and was very successful, and thought, because he loves puns, he thought, oh, it'd be great to someday have a rock band, literally a rock band, with instruments all made out of rocks. But then he realized, wow, this is really a difficult thing to work with. This material is really difficult to work with. So why don't I work with bamboo, which is the material that I've always worked with. So he started designing instruments and created a bamboo band called takedake, which, again, if you understand Japanese, is a play on words, which means bamboo, bamboo, or bamboo only. And so all of the instruments were made out of bamboo. And this instrument is one of his first inventions for the all bamboo band. And so if you can see, when you look closely here, that you can see the sort of markings of the bamboo, the nodes here. So it's a lot like the material that you see for bamboo flooring. And this particular drum right here is actually handmade by myself and my father. So we made this together in Japan last fall, or October, I guess. And so it's really great to have the opportunity to play this for you guys a little bit. So I'm going to get started with just a little bit of free flow, and then I have a little bit of a solo percussion routine that I do often with my dad, which I thought would be fun to share with you all. So here we go. Let's just adjust a little bit. I'll check our comments here too. Thank you everyone for joining. So again, this is Music Mondays, Japan Foundation. My name is David Neptune, and I'm just going to play a little bit of the Takeda for you all. Yo! Not quite like the Tsumi, but it's a very fun instrument to play. So any questions that you guys have along the way, I'll try and check in with the comments every once in a while as well. But yeah, so this is the instrument, and a little bit of my influences as well growing up was a lot of traditional Japanese music. So I listened to my dad playing the shakuhachi, which actually is right here. This is a shakuhachi made in Northern California by a dear friend, Monty Levinson, and he makes amazing shakuhachis. This one is a sort of a made out of a PVC pipe, as you can see here, but it gets quite a good sound. I don't think I'll be playing it. Well, okay, I'll just demonstrate just the sound, since we are going to play a song next by my dad, and I'm going to play along on the takeda with it. So just to give you an idea of the sound, I am not a shakuhachi player, but I just want to give you a sense of the sound, and maybe I'll also be demonstrating how difficult it is to play if I can't get a sound out of it. But this is kind of what it sounds like. So that's it, and that's all I'm going to play, because, as you can tell, it's not my main instrument. But I also wanted to share a couple of the techniques that I use on this drum are not just from Japanese, music and instruments, but it's a Indian technique where you split your hand this way, and the reason for that is when you're hitting your hand like this, that's about as fast as I can go with just one hand. But if you split the finger up this way and do a rolling motion, then I can go at least twice as fast. So doing that with both hands, you can do a lot of the Indian percussion sort of traditional, techniques as well. So. You're probably, or maybe some of you are familiar with some of the amazing players like Zakir Hussain, who with one hand seem to go at a speed that I could never go with two hands. It's really very fascinating how South Indian percussionists, South or North Indian percussionists, can play percussion so fast. So my father kind of borrowed a lot of techniques from that and brought in those techniques with playing on this. But a lot of the basis of it, you can also do stuff like Latin percussion, where pattern you would normally hear on the congas, where you have this heel and toe technique where you hit the drum, lift one side, and sort of land on the tip of the fingers like that. So let me share just a little fun percussion routine that I do with my dad sometimes when I play with him in concert, which goes a little bit like this. That's it. That's the little routine that we do sometimes. And that's kind of one of the ways you can play this solo, is just playing around, doing a lot of rhythms like that. But it's really lovely when you play it with some shakuhachi. And with quarantine happening, I couldn't invite my dad from Japan to play with me on the shakuhachi, but I can play a recording by him. So I'm going to go ahead and play this song called Komagawa, which is inspired by a traditional folk tune in Komagawa, which is the city that I grew up in Japan, in Chiba Prefecture, which is where my dad still lives now. And he wrote this song inspired by the Komagawa Yanzabushi, which is a traditional folk tune in that area. So he took sort of the Japanese folk scale and created his own tune inspired by it, and I often play with him in concert on the drums. So here we go. So there we are. That's a little song called Komagawa by my dad, John Kaizan Neptune, and that's kind of a little taste of what the takeda sounds like. So again, this bamboo instrument designed by my father, John Kaizan Neptune, is called the takeda, and the kanji for it is take and utsu. So take ni utsu, takeda, and the English version of that is basically bamboo hit, is sort of the way that you would translate that. So that was the takeda. And since we are here all in this this great boat of life together, I asked the people over at Japan Foundation if I could play a song that I wrote with a dear songwriter, and share it with you all on the guitar, because the song is called Rise Up From the Ashes, and we wrote it kind of inspired by a lot of what's going on with the coronavirus now, and just sort of feeling like, wow, we're kind of, as a society and as a whole, going through this very difficult time, and we're about to rise up from the ashes, kind of a thing. And I feel like it's even more appropriate now that all of the current situation in Los Angeles and really all the major cities in the US is kind of pretty heavy. So wanted to share this song with you all, which is very fresh, so I might make a couple little mistakes here and there, but I really wanted to share it with you all because it just feels like the right time right now to share this song. So this instrument's called a guitar. It has 6 strings. I don't need to explain the guitar. Okay, so I have my little music sheet here to remember the lyrics. Okay, in fact, why don't we all do that together? If all of you have a moment here, just to take a deep breath and feel your body and feel where you are right now. So just take a deep inhale with me. And exhale. And one more deep inhale. And exhale. And a final inhale. And hold that breath. Feel the gratitude for being allowed to experience this current moment of connection despite our distance. And exhale. Okay. So, this is called Rise Up From the Ashes. Darkest of storms, look out to sea. Keep your eyes open through the wind, through the rain. Rise up from the ashes and feel your life. Rise up from the ashes and take life. Rise up from the ashes and feel your life. Rise up from the ashes and take life. You know your truth, listen to your soul. your mind. Rise up from the ashes and trust your heart. Rise up from the ashes and free your mind. You're the answer of questions that you see. The sun will shine through the clouds, through your eyes. Rise up from the ashes and speak your truth. Rise up from the ashes and be you. Rise up from the ashes and speak your truth. Rise up from the ashes and be you. Rise up from the ashes and speak your truth. Rise up from the ashes and be you. Rise up from the ashes and be you. Thank you very much. So that was Rise Up from the Ashes. And that was the first public playing of that song. So let's see what time it is. Well, technically I'm supposed to be finishing pretty soon, but there's one more instrument I wanted to introduce, so I'm going to do it kind of shorter. And the instrument I want to introduce is called the hand pan, which is a really nice way to end this out because it's a very soothing, sort of beautiful instrument that's used a lot for sound baths and for relaxation in yoga classes and things like that. And it's a very interesting instrument that really feels like some people call it a space drum because it's shaped like a UFO. So this is the version that I have, made by a company called Dave's Island Instruments. They make really beautiful hand pans here in Los Angeles. And so this one has 9 notes on the top, and it has 2 notes on the bottom, as you can see over here. So I'm going to just, let's see, situate this very quickly on a stand so that I can get maximum enjoyment. My cat is amazingly just sleeping through all of this. Very impressive. So this instrument was invented back in about 2000. It's a very recent instrument. And it was invented in Switzerland by a couple of people, and it was called the hang back then. Now it's often referred to as the hand pan. And so I'd love to just kind of improvise a little piece for you all on this drum and just maybe allow yourself to sort of drift off and just lose yourself to the sound. If you're driving, I don't recommend doing that. Stay focused on the road, or if you're in a task. But yeah, please enjoy some sounds of the hand pan. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and checking out Music Mondays. It was such a pleasure playing for you all and chatting for a little while. Yeah, thank you so much, and I look forward to going through these comments and commenting as I end this broadcast. So thank you so much, everybody. Stay safe and stay well and stay happy.